Welcome back to the Money Hacks podcast. I'm Kim Kent, your host. Welcome if this is your first episode, and welcome back, of course. We are talking about my obsession or my past obsession with boys or getting attention from boys and how that actually is linked with keeping me broke. This is a really cool topic. I am coming to you live from Bali. I have moved to my bed because I actually need to plug in my laptop. My recording devices for you. In the previous episode, I still recorded from here, but I gave you the background of the view from my window actually, with the palm trees and the grass rooftop because I'm upstairs. And now I get to look at that while I talk to you. I'll switch. If you're watching the video, if you see me look up, it's because I'm like, palm trees with coconuts. Anyway, if you're just listening on Spotify or iTunes, then hopefully you can just visualize it with me. But I'm sitting here on the bed, aircon cranking. The day is starting to heat up, and I have absolute gold for you in this episode. And I just find this one really interesting. And I will disclaimer because I have sexual relationships with boys. So I know we're in a day and age where like we can't even like it's all the stereotypes aren't even stereotypes anymore. So I'm not gay or I didn't want attention from girls. When it came to like feeling good enough and validated, like I'm attracted to men. So when I speak with what I'm going to speak, that's why, okay? But this depending on like what you're into or who you're attracted to or what your status is. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Like I'm so under a rock these days. But depending on where or who, I hope you know what I'm saying. Just take what I'm saying. I'm using boys as an example because that was me, okay? Just get that out of the way so I don't fucking offend anyone. Honestly, I just don't want to offend anyone and say the wrong thing with the society that we're in. So with that, I'm going to share a little bit about my past, my childhood, my adolescence, and my adulthood until I did the work. So I think I've shared this before in an episode. I had like the pre-Kim and the post-Kim. The pre doing the work, transforming, like becoming the wealthier version of me, healing my shit, to post-Kim, who now is I am the wealthiest fuck version of me, and it's only growing and growing and growing. And I'm the money coach and I'm teaching all the things that I've learned. So I craved attention. Okay. I craved attention as a child because I never felt like my parents gave it to me. Now, looking back as an adult, I definitely got attention. I still had parents that were in my life. I had parents that fought over child custody during the divorce. So, like fought over wanting to have us for longer and all these things. So my parents loved me and they wanted to see me. But as a child, how I viewed the circumstances were different. Okay. Now, I am going to use a specific example for like getting boys' attention and attention, like to feel good enough to feel love, like having a boyfriend and all of that. But because this is showing up in this area of my life, it showed up in other areas too. But you might not relate unless it's talking about, like you might only relate because you're like, oh my gosh, that was me too. So I've got to try not to move around too much because it's all bouncy. Trying to stay nice and perfectly stable. Those if you're watching the YouTube. So I wanted boys' attention ever since I could remember. My first boyfriend, and it was in year 1 and year 2, his name was Jimmy, Kimmy and Jimmy. I actually just remember, I won't share his last name. I highly doubt he's going to listen to this. But I just remember I would stare across the classroom into his beautiful big brown eyes and just feel so, like so validated, okay? I was searching that external validation. So I felt enough. So I had boyfriends. I always wanted the boy to like me. My first major, like proper, like you would call it a boyfriend, which was in year 7. His name was Daniel. Hilarious because my husband's now Daniel. And he was a twin of this first Daniel. And we dated for like 6 months. But, I didn't even hang out with him outside of school. Like was he really a boyfriend? And then I went into high school. Now I was very academic. Okay. I went to the high school I did because I got into the academic talent program. So this is the start, the first form, we used to call it form. Like I was in year 8, it was 801 was my class. So we were the top class. It was called ATP. The smart kids, we did all the smart shit, but we had high expectations on us. That's how we got in. I won the Dux Award in my primary school. I didn't do it in high school, and you'll learn why. But I won the Dux Award, the Smart Kid Award for primary school. And when I left primary school, we graduated in year 7 and I was 12, okay? Because I know everything's changing. And then we went into year 8 and I was 13 that year, and that was high school. So I went to high school and probably I was hit with all the teenage hormones as well. And like, oh my God, was I into boys, like checking them out. Who's cute? Who's going to give me attention? Who's going to like me? Who's going to think I'm pretty enough? Who's going to want to date me? Always comparing myself to the popular girls who had nice hair and nice clothes and like popular brands and all this stuff. And as time went on, like I remember this moment, and I probably was about year 10 by now, so I was 15. And I remember chatting to my brother, and he's like, I bumped into Mrs. Nan. Now, Mrs. Nan was one of my favorite primary school teachers. She was my year 6 teacher, and then she became deputy. And Andrew, my brother, bumped into her. Hang on, was it during high school? Or it was like early 20s. Look, I actually can't remember when this conversation happened with my brother, but it was back, I think it was when I was in high school, and he bumped into teachers because, you know, she was still working at the primary school near where we lived. I don't know how, but he did. So Mrs. Nan, and she asked about me. And Andrew was like, yeah, she's doing well, but you know, she just likes boys now. And he said that, and I'm like, for my younger brother to have to say that, it's not like he was trying to throw me under the bus, maybe, but we've never had that relationship. We never like actively wanted to throw each other under the bus, only like when we were kids to not get in trouble for something. That's sibling rivalry. Anyway, I remember him saying this, and I was like, that's not me. Like, no, I don't want to be known as like the smart kid that then sacrificed all of her smartness for boys' attention. And it really stuck with me. Did it make me change my behaviors? No, not at all. But all through high school, like I still did well, guys. I still, like I failed English, but I still passed. I just passed in my head. That was a fail. I did the TEE, which is your tertiary entrance exam. Now it's called ATAR in Australia. It's like the exams to get into university. I did all of that. I did all the smart, like the academic things, because, you know, have to be good enough, have to be smart enough. I did all those things, but I was obsessed with boys. And I would actually, like some of the guys, like, you know, when you're in high school, you totally date boys by how they look, really. Like you judge them. At first you like scope out who you think's cute or sexy or attractive. But I used to find the attractiveness, which is probably a really good quality of mine, in the boys that weren't stereotypically like the hot boys, okay? They weren't stereotypically the most attractive. I'm not saying that I was a beauty queen or anything, all right? But we do, like, let's just be really fucking honest. We judge people based on appearance. But I would find a way, like if they were kind to me and nice to me and validated me, I would start to get attached. I'd be like, oh, they like me. I want to date them. And I start to see their beautifulness and like I find them sexy and attractive and all that stuff. So I did all this. Then growing up, then I left high school and I actually met my now husband when I was 18, so the year after high school. And I fell in love straight away. And we had a very toxic on-off relationship because we were both messed up in ways. But I just craved his love and validation and attention so much. And it's half the reason probably the actual reason we broke up the first couple of times, because I wanted more and he couldn't give it. He also was a party boy, only wanted to hang out with his friends, never really had girlfriends. So, you know, I chose like where I was seeking my validation from someone who didn't even have the capacity and wanted girlfriends. Side note, made him become my boyfriend and made him fall in love with me. So I must have some kind of superpower. But look, we are happily married now we've gone through shit, but we are pretty happily married with a beautiful 2.5-year-old. Anyway, I craved his love, craved his attention. I was heartbroken. We had 2 major breakups, heartbroken each time, constantly wanting him. And then in between that, in my single day, like I would go out clubbing because I wanted boys' attention. I didn't necessarily go home. I didn't really sleep around, but it's like I was a kissing whore. I just want to kiss boys out and just get their attention and want them to want me and validate me and like me and fall in love with me. Now, I'm sharing this with you because the patterning of this is because I didn't love myself and I couldn't validate myself because I never felt good enough. And I had this belief system that the only way to feel enough was to find it externally. Find it through mum and dad, find it through friendships, find it through boys, find it through XYZ. And And I definitely wanted to find it through boys. I thought if they are attracted to me and want to love me, then I will feel good enough. So how it's keeping me broke. It just reflects that I'm not good enough. And relationships with like sexual partner relationships or like not friendships, more than friends, that's one area of life. Then you have friendships is an area of life. Then you have family. Then you have your health. Then you have money. Then you have business. Then you have your spirituality. Then you have your relationship with society and like strangers. They're all areas of life and how you interact and the relationship you have with those areas of life. So because I never felt good enough from within, it affected every area of my life. And so I really felt it. I was really looking for external validation to fill my void from the sexual partner's area of life. Okay. And how that reflects in my money is I never felt enough. So no matter how much money I would hustle to make, try and obtain, it would never feel enough. And because I never felt enough or good enough to hold it, I would just spend it, put it on credit, pay back later, never get ahead, like put myself in debt because I never felt enough. I know, right? But I'm speaking to you now from the girl who believes she is good enough, okay? Majorly good enough for whatever I have in my life. And then every time I want to grow more and hit goals and earn more money and build a bigger business and achieve more things, I do the work to be like, am I enough for that? What's getting in the way to make me think differently? Clear that energy, clear that stagnation, increase my capacity for more. And this is why I constantly have financial growth and business opportunities. And I'd say business because that's my stream of income, which is opportunities to make more money, okay, and receive more money and hold more money, invest more money and manifest more money. But yes, so I guess I want you to know this, like you're human, but if you can relate to this, are you seeking external validation to feel good enough? This is going to keep you feeling like there's never enough money. And you're going to keep looking for the better job, the pay rise, the next client, the next sale, the next refund, the next lotto win. But no matter when it comes, if you don't feel enough, it will never feel enough. Okay. So I hope you love that chat. I'm going to leave that one with you today. If you would love to be in my world more, I invite you to scroll the show notes, check out my Instagram, come say hi. Like, let me know if you could relate. Was this to you too? Send me a DM. Let me know that you listened to this episode and you're like, oh my gosh, I seek validation with boys too. And I always wanted boys' attention. And oh my gosh, I feel heard. I'd love to know. Please leave a review. Leave the 5 stars. It helps impact more people's lives. And it would just mean the absolute world to me if you could help me out and do that. And, if you are interested in working with me, head to the Wealthy as Fuck website. You can learn about my beautiful program and the journey and how it can support you to stop seeking external validation, create and cultivate that high sense of self-worthiness and validation within. So you start manifesting more money, making more money, increasing your income, and creating the lifestyle that you can afford. This shit works. Okay. I invite you in to take a look at that. Otherwise, I'll chat to you on the next episode. Bye.